Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I am your host, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piwowarski, and I am your co-host from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most. Here on the Rundown, 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, it's over. The hostage situation has ended. It is Friday.
It is Friday. Well, officially for me, the hostage situation ends right after this program. Although this really I do for fun, and it just happens to put a little money in my pocket.
There you go. Yeah. If somebody came to me right after this and asked for more work, I would just give them that stare like I don't speak their language.
Exactly. No sé. No sé. Of course, then if they started speaking Spanish to me, I'd have to come up with another way to say, I don't know what you're saying.
Movich Popolski?
Wow. I don't know. I have no idea if you just made that up or if it actually means something.
Well, we'll leave it at that.
There you go. We will leave it. We will definitely leave it at that. So with that, talking about making a little money, why don't we go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors?
Let's do it. Let's say hey to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you got an AR in the past 5 years, you probably have one of their barrels and don't even know it. Well, now you could buy direct from them for your next AR build or to change the rifle in your current. Oh, wait, change the barrel in your current rifle. There we go. Hitmanindustries.net. That's hitmanindustries.net. The California Republican Assembly. Listen, how many days we got left now? We got about 11, 12 days left. Reach out to these guys. Help them help you pick the right candidates so you know which side of the fence to be on. And then, of course, if you want some awesome tactical gear, some combat gear, go hook up with our friends over at uscombatgear.com.
Folks, these are the folks who so generously make sure that we're able to come to you. So do us a favor. Make sure you go to them. Check them out. Look, they wouldn't be our sponsors. They wouldn't sponsor this show if they didn't support the same things that you support. So, as we're all supporting the same things, how about we support each other? Check them out. Spend some money with them if you like what you see, because I'm pretty sure you'll like what you'll see. And then make sure you tell them that the guys over at the Rundown sent you. See, you help us, help you, help them, help us, help you.
That's it. Remember, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter.
There you go. On that note, please make sure, if you haven't already done so, please remember like, share, subscribe. However you are partaking of the program, make sure you tell your friends about it and let them know that even if they don't want to, if they don't want to watch the video, tell them they can get it wherever they get their podcasts. And if they want to actually watch it because they usually listen to podcasts, or maybe you're listening to podcasts, let them know they can find us on. They can actually watch us on YouTube, Spotify, OpsLens. They can watch us on Rumble, on Facebook. But however you do, let them know that they can partake of the program.
Yeah, right here, right now, or later if you're watching this later, just not
there
before.
You go. Right. If you're watching us later, then let them know that they can watch us now or later.
Right.
They just can't watch us before.
Exactly. Unless it's later and we were on earlier.
There you go. I guess before you actually watch it, there's a before then sometimes, unless you're watching us live.
Very true. You have a point. I don't know what it is, but you have a point.
I definitely have a point. Man, today, there were so many things to talk about in the news today. Not just stuff from the rest of the week, which there's a ton of stuff I was looking back over the week that we just didn't get a chance to get to. But today is a gold mine. Starting with our good friend, and I'm going to call him our good friend, even though he is not a conservative. Please, folks, do not confuse that we are trying to say that this guy is a conservative, because he's not. He's probably more libertarian or too liberal-tarian. But Elon Musk is in the news. He has finally completed his purchase of Twitter. He went into Twitter. I believe was it yesterday, Mike? He went in there, or was it early today?
I believe it was yesterday. or today?
I believe you. I believe you are 100% correct. I believe it was yesterday. In any case, here was Elon Musk showing up there at Twitter with the sink, and guess what his line was when he went in, Mike?
What are you thinking about?
No, his line
No.
was, "Let this sink in."
Um, Listen, how many billions is this guy worth? He
Uh,
could maybe he should hire a joke writer. That's all I'm saying. Because that's now he's a prop comic all of a sudden. What are we doing?
all I know is when you got the kind of when you got the kind of money that he has, where you can literally just buy a $44 billion company. It ain't worth 44 billion, but when you can buy it for 44 billion just because, that's saying something.
No, listen, I'm with you. I just think that his humor level could be above Gallagher or Carrot Top. With the whole prop comedy. Oh, and by the way, note to self: never say to Elon Musk, "You can't do that." Yeah. guess what this guy's gonna do? Hold on, stroke this check out. Here you go. Boom. You take Bitcoin or whatever it is. Yeah,
Elon Musk, you cannot buy the rundown for $44 billion. Absolutely not.
Probably $44 maybe, but not 44 billion.
No.
Yeah, you can't do it, Elon. You can't do it.
Look, I'm negotiating here, Mike. I'm negotiating. Look.
All right, $45. Yeah,
there you go. Come on, man. Look, will you please listen to me?
Right. Just make sure it's a round number so we could split it up evenly.
There you go.
I don't want to have to do fractions,
And 42 cents.
That's it.
Yeah. Once again, what's funny is now Kanye is now back on Twitter. Yes. Ye is now back on Twitter. I'm wondering if Donald Trump will be back on Twitter. Here's the thing. What I find funny is that the people who are against him buying Twitter are all like, because they believe that he is going to stifle free speech, that he's going to kill free speech. And all he's doing is saying, look, you don't get to ban speech you don't like. Period. That's not free speech.
Right. In fact, let me see if I can't. There was a quote earlier I found in this story, towards the bottom of the story. Let's see if I can find it here while you're telling us more about Elon's sync choices.
Well, I'll use this quote. This is one of my favorite quotes I heard from a guy, I think Tom McDonald or Tim McDonald. Tom McDonald, he's a rapper. He's like, look, there's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate, right? You don't get to just ban speech just because you hate it. And that's exactly what they're looking to do. That's exactly what the folks over at Twitter are looking to do. And by the way, he wound up firing both the CEO and the CFO. And I'm beginning to believe that's just going to be the beginning of what he's got planned. Rumor has it that he is planning on letting go up somewhere around 2/3 or 3/4 of their employees. Because I imagine a lot of the folks who are involved in the censoring, I imagine he's going to get rid of a lot of them.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of downsizing, because this, by the way, is a company that has never made a profit. He paid $44 billion for a company that has never made a profit.
Well, if you immediately eliminate 2/3 of your staff, I think you could turn a profit. I think you might be successful there. I think you might have the business plan. Here's the quote. It says, perhaps most immediately, many will be watching to see how soon Musk could let former President Donald Trump back on the platform, as he has previously said he would do. Depending on the timing, such a move could have major implications for the U.S. midterm elections, as well as the 2024 presidential campaign. I'll tell you what has a major implication on elections. How about when you've already turned off half of the political parties and views? That's what has the major implication on elections. You're trying to turn this back around, like Elon Musk, because he's going to allow free speech on there, is the one that's going to affect the midterm elections. No, jackwagons, you're the one that's been oppressing free speech for years now, and I'm glad there's somebody like Elon Musk that can toss $44 billion to the side and put your liberal, hypocritical waste of lives out of my way.
Well, exactly. In other words, what they're doing in that comment is acknowledging that they have been, that as a part of their goal, they've been attempting to affect the outcome of the
Yes.
election.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
But
doubt.
it's only interference with the outcome when it doesn't go their way. You know.
Right. Exactly. When the other side does it, it's election interference. When your side does it, that's information. And banning
Yes.
them is correcting disinformation. Even though
Correct.
even though the information that has been provided by oftentimes by them, especially during when they're dealing with the COVID stuff or dealing with the
Right.
Hunter Biden laptop, turns out, yeah, it was all true. It wasn't disinformation.
All
It
true.
wasn't misinformation. It was all true. It just what
Right.
you just didn't like it.
It was information. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Forget these guys. Anyway, moving right along. Joe Biden the other day made the comment. We talk about, first of all, I get that elected officials can be out of touch. Okay. If you are a senator, if you are the vice president of the United States, I mean, even a former vice president, you still probably have Secret Service driving you around all the time. You don't know how much stuff costs. I get it. But you had the president of the United States. Now, when gas is a big deal for people, right? And you are the president of the United States, and you're going to start arguing over gas prices. You probably should know how much gas prices are, or in this particular case, how much they were when you became president. He made the statement, Mike, that gas was on average $5 a gallon when he became president. Now, I can tell you right now, in California in December 2020, January 2021, it was around, if not slightly under $3 a gallon. And it was higher in California than any place else in the country. It was nowhere near $5 a gallon on average. It is. I mean, he is so completely off and wrong. Gas went up $1.50 a gallon before Ukraine even jumped off. It was like
Yeah.
under $3. I mean, it was about $3.50 to $4 before Ukraine ever jumped off.
Craig, I think the issue is it's not that the president doesn't know the price of gas today. It's that he doesn't know what today is. All right.
Snap.
There's
You
your
went
issue.
there.
Right? His brain is remembering gas prices from, days after 9/11 to, what it was under the first week under Trump to what it's been his last year. He has no idea. Remember his ability to recall, current events as they correlate to today versus to when his brain is actually going to, because another sign of diminished mental capacity and dementia is, your brain is no longer in today's moment. It's remembering, things from your long-term memory as opposed from your short-term memory.
Well, yeah. I mean, but in this case, he was remembering things from his short-term memory as though they were his long-term memory.
Well, yeah. Well, his short-term memory. Remember, gas is not, $5 a gallon right now. Well, it is by you, but again, so he's mixing when it occurred. What's short-term, what's long-term? Yeah, he's
right.
And that's just again a sign of dementia.
Oh yeah, no, it's right now. California gas is right around $5 a gallon. It's been as high as almost $7 a gallon.
Yeah.
And let me clarify. Depending on some places in California, it is actually $7 a gallon.
Yep. How much is diesel out there?
$5.50, $6 a gallon.
Oh no. If regular MoGas is $5 a gallon, then diesel's probably $7.50.
Yeah. Well, once again, it depends on where you're at. Depends on where you're at in California. I think that's the average price of diesel. I just heard him saying it this morning. It was somewhere around $5.50 to $6 a gallon, or higher.
Gotcha.
It's weird, but the point is, dude, you you are demonstrating once again just how out of touch. Here's the deal. Here's what you need to do. Y'all need to lock him up. Do like you did during the election. Put him back in the basement, right?
Yeah.
Because he is going to kill your election. And by the way, I've heard the worst of all bad ideas. So this weekend, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to team up, and they're going to go to Pennsylvania, and they're going to campaign with John Fetterman. Now, if that is not a Democratic gaffe fest, I just would love to see a public conversation with the three of them.
Yeah, I mean, would you need a closed captioning, or would you need a hearing impaired interpreter? I don't know that anybody could keep up to that weird conversation.
My God,
the three of them not making sense at all.
It would be hilarious, dude. I have absolutely no doubt it would be epic. First of all, it is the thing of which a Saturday Night Live skit. If they don't make one this weekend, it's got to be next week. There's got to be next weekend. I don't know how you do not do a skit with those three campaigning at the same event.
Maybe they have been going after, like we said, they have been going after the left a little bit more than they used to. So, perhaps we'll see that. Yeah.
Perhaps we will. It will be, once again, it will be interesting to see. Another thing that will be interesting to see is, are black folks going to vote Republican? Now, this is an interesting one. So there's a poll out that's showing that support for Democrats amongst the black community is slipping. Now, I realize 21% is far from a majority, but keep in mind that means that African Americans who typically vote anywhere between only 5 to 10% for a Republican, in this particular case are looking at voting over 20%. Think about that. Over 20% for Republicans. This is once again according to a pollster Nolte. This is a report in Breitbart. But Mike, I think a lot of this is by the way, now it shows 40% of Latinos, which in some cases that number's been as high as 50%. But I just think that now folks are starting to recognize that as the Democratic Party focuses on January 6th and they focus on abortion, they realize that they're not really interested in the issues that are impacting most Americans. They're not talking about gas prices, right? They're not talking about inflation. They're not talking about crime, and crime is huge in a lot of the communities that have higher African American or higher black populations. They're not talking about crime. They're not talking about the quality of education. We just had a study come out that said that the closures, which by the way, largely happened in Democrat-controlled cities and Democrat-controlled states, but the lockdowns decimated the education of our children. And there's just so many things they have to blame Democrats for. Folks are like, they finally starting to hear Trump when Trump said, what have you got to lose?
Yeah, and remember, that's exactly what he told them. He told all. He told it to all Democrat Party, but he said it specifically to the minorities. And here you go. Listen, we've seen Black Americans, African Americans come over in waves. And now it's up to 20, 21%. Folks, what does that mean? Just so you're clear, the last election was decided by 100,000 votes here, 10,000 votes there. I'm realistically less than Craig. I'd call it less than 500,000 votes made the deciding factor in many of those states. If you add up those states that were won by the Democrats, if there's 33 million adult African American people. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Voting age. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Adult African Americans in this country, 30 million of them. It just went up, the approval rating, almost 10%. So there's 3 million more folks that just switched parties on this vote. Well, 3 million more.
But okay? Mike,
and in the Hispanic, much the same. You're looking at 10 million more so another up to 15 million people that have just changed their votes.
Well, but here's why this is such a huge deal. Because, I mean, if you look back over past elections, right? Black folks have not largely voted Republican, But when they have been dissatisfied with the Democratic Party, they just haven't shown up. But
Right.
when
Yes.
black voters don't show up, Democrats in competitive races lose, and they tend to lose big. Now, think about the fact that now in this case they're not only not showing up, but they're saying we're going to vote for the other guys. That's like doubling the impact of what normally happens when when black voters are dissatisfied with the Democratic Party. We could seriously be looking at a serious red wave. My question is, for those of us in California, is that red wave going to make it over the Sierras? That's what I'm hoping for.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think it ended up being a lot closer race out there than anybody anticipated. Remember what we know about polls. We know they're all wrong. We know they're lying, and we know that they're trying to control all the polls and all the media sources. So they put those out there to have you believe that the race is lost, so you won't go vote if you're on the conservative side. We saw that, and listen, you saw what happened in 2016. So here it comes again. All of the polls will continue to tell you that the race is lost. If you're a Republican, the race is lost. Don't even bother going to vote.
But what's funny though now is what they're saying now though is, Mike, is they're saying the reason why the polls are saying Republicans are going to win is to try and lull Republicans into staying home, because they're like, okay, yeah, we got this. Folks, let me just tell you something. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal. Right?
Yeah.
We just run all the way through the finish line. Go out there, encourage your friends to vote, and encourage them to vote Republican. Knock on doors, make phone calls, donate to candidates. Do not assume that we are going to win anything. I'm not saying we won't. I'm saying that when you assume that you tend to let up a little bit and know that one vote per precinct, that one vote per street can make a huge difference in a big election.
Yep. Very, very much so. Very much so. I'm looking at poll turnout results. Black America turned out for 57% in 2000, 65% in 2008, 67% in 2012, then dropped to 60% in 2016. So that's 7% there. Hands down is what lost it for Hillary Clinton. So now flip it back again. You're looking at 21%, which is double, some maybe even tripling in some places. This is going to be, as we keep referring to it, as the potential red wave here.
Exactly. Red wave with a little bit of black in it. Red and black.
There you go. Yep.
By the way, just so you guys know, that is not a Democrat donkey on my hat. Different thing.
What is it?
It is a donkey, but it's a clamper thing. You wouldn't understand.
Like Jed Clampett?
No. Hard to explain. Hard to explain. Okay, let's see here. Where are we at here? Break-in at Nancy's. Oh my God!
Hold on. I want to point out that I thought this was a dancing story when I read it.
I know, because I didn't put the space in there. I know.
Breaking at Nancy's. It's like breaking to the electric boogaloo. Yeah, here we go. Breaking at Nancy's. Yeah, this would be the second time today I misread this story. So.
No, there was a break-in at Nancy Pelosi's house. Now, mind you, Nancy wasn't there, which leads me to believe it was a setup. But there was a break-in at Nancy Pelosi's house. It was about two something in the morning. A gentleman broke into her home and attacked her. He broke in there and he was yelling, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" Right? He's 42 years old. Anyway, her husband decided to defend himself with a hammer. Got the hammer taken away from him and then got beat down with the hammer. They basically, the police got there. He's now in the hospital. Or let me clarify: the assailant has been arrested, not the assistant. The assailant has been arrested.
I thought it said assistant. I read it earlier today. Yeah,
right. The Paul Pelosi is now. He had surgery, but he is expected to make a full recovery.
First, that's pretty neat that Paul took Nancy's last name when they got married. I find that very, very California of him. So, and then Craig, I'm not sure Nancy's in the clear on this. For those of you old enough to remember when the first report came out of Nicole Brown Simpson being killed, the initial report was it wasn't OJ. He was in Chicago or something like that. No, he wasn't here. He wasn't here. And now they're saying that Nancy wasn't there. She was in Washington. I think we may have the same kind of situation there. I think we may find old Nancy went hammer crazy there, and she brought back old MC Hammer, and they went hammer time.
Well, I think, okay, so here's a couple of things, couple of notes that I had. Number one, if he had a gun instead of a hammer, he might have done a better job being able to defend himself. I get it.
Or
it's
at least,
San Francisco.
at the very least, keep a nail in the chamber of the hammer, you know?
Keep a nail in the chamber of the hammer. Exactly. Because, there also, you can take self-defense classes with firearms. I don't know of any hammer self-defense classes.
A bigger hammer? I don't know. A longer hammer, perhaps?
Well, now, mind you, this hammer would wind up being used against him, so it would have been better if it were a softer hammer, maybe more like a mallet.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want a softer hammer. They do want a longer hammer. That's usually the way it works, but
not if you're getting beat over the head with it.
True. Very true. That's when you want a longer hammer. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
you can reach out the head, yeah.
You can bet, Mike, that they are going to find a way to blame Republicans for this. Now, mind you, when a Bernie Sanders supporter goes and shoots up a bunch of Republican congressmen, needless to say, Bernie Sanders and the Democratic Party have nothing to do with that. But, let someone it doesn't really matter if he's a Republican or a conservative or not. The fact is, they're going to blame Republicans for it anyway.
Craig, as a prediction, write it down, folks. I predict before the election, in an attempt to sway or influence it, we see Governor Newsom enact a hammer ban.
Would not surprise me one bit. He is that kind of guy.
Hammer control, baby.
Hammer control. All right. Let's move on to our parting shots because we've got them aplenty. Our first one here, as I told you, Elon Musk. I showed you the image of Elon Musk showing up at Twitter with the sink. His line was, "Let this sink in." And now, mind you, he had already talked about the fact that he was going to be letting go of a significant number. I think somewhere like 2/3 to 75% of their employees. And that reminds me of the whole, you got Elon Musk's head on top of Thanos. He's about to snap. If you don't get the Thanos analogy, I don't know what to tell you. And then you've got the Twitter employees standing there looking at him looking in disapproval. I just think there are way too many suits and ties for that to actually be Twitter employees. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That's actually, I believe, White House aides and employees. If you look at my girl right in the middle there.
Oh, that is. Yep, they're all there at Twitter. Not very happy. And by the way, many of those employees, several people have been let go. They've already, like I said, many of them have been told they're going to be let go. But he started off by firing the CFO and the CEO, and this is an image of their leaving that day.
Yes.
Yeah, there are. It is a runway. For those of you who are just listening, let's just say that not too flattering image of models wearing what I guess is supposed to be a raincoat. A trench coat, but not with no trench and no pants.
I consider that the latest in California clothing wear.
Yeah, no, we don't wear that. We don't wear that, Mike. Just so you know.
How do we know? We can only see you from the shoulders up, Craig. We don't know. We don't know that.
That's true. Okay, but of course, then again, we don't know what you got down there now either, do we? You probably got that same exact shirt tucked in with button right there at the crotch.
Yep, only a select few know that. That's it. That. By the way, if you pay $29.95 a month, we could show you those. That video.
Just visit our OnlyFans page.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Only rundown.
Only run. All right, Mike. I'm gonna let you introduce this next one. Wow. All I know is I was in the middle of a drink when you sent this, and I almost spit it out. Go for it.
Ah, the old spit take. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
All right, bring it up. Bring it up. So that first off, I want to point out is Mike Wazowski, just so people are clear on that, right?
Yeah. That's your cousin, right?
That's it, Mike Wazowski, and he's got this look of disdain on his face, right? And it says, "The guy who told me to quote train like you fight unquote, watching me chug a fifth of bourbon and then run the drill shirtless." Listen, I'm a big proponent of train as you fight. Okay, and having said that, those in my circle have gone out and made sure when we shoot our competitions, legitimate competitions at the range, that we make sure we train as right. Listen, my attorney friend wears a suit out there. Some of us may be out way too late before stumbling into the range an hour after leaving the bar. I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. But you want to train as you fight, and I could kind of. I feel this guy. I feel Mike Wazowski's pain here. I feel it.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, came in second place during that competition.
You came in second place in that competition.
Out of 75 people, came in second place. Yep. I didn't talk to anybody while I was there.
Don't talk. That's too loud. Too loud.
Exactly. Yep. But took second place. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, as you can tell, we have a lot of fun here on the Rundown. All right, Mike. It's about time to call it a day. But before we do, need one more shout out to them sponsors.
Let's say hey to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. For your next barrel purchase for your AR, rifle, pistol calibers available. Reach out to them at hitmanindustries.net. Go to the California Republican Assembly. Help them out. Maybe a couple dollar bills here. It's getting to be that time. They don't do what they do, supporting the conservative side there in California for free. And of course, if you want some awesome combat gear, tactical gear, go visit our good buddy Scott over at uscombatgear.com.
Yes, folks. By the way, with CRA, if you're in California, it's election time. Go to their website and you can see exactly who to vote for. You can see how you guys should be voting on the various different initiatives, the propositions. But please go there, check it out. A list of candidates from school board all the way up to governor of California. But once again, check them out and make sure you vote and encourage your friends to vote. It's about electing like-minded conservatives, right? So let's make sure that we're doing that and we're active and engaged. On that note, we're going to call it a day. Very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We'll be back on Monday. Fun day. Gun day. You guys have a good weekend.